2, 1. This is the Jai08, also known as Jeremy the Jai Guillory. And again, we have Bobby Knows.
Bobby knows, man.
Yeah. So, before we begin, there's a little bit of an elephant in the room that we need to address that has happened in the past week. It may bleed into our topic for today. Mick Foley has announced that once his contract expires, he's not renewing it with WWE due to issues with Donald Trump and his comments. So we tried to not be political, or I tried not to be political on the show or anything. We try to stay as neutral as we can here, but with this being a wrestling show and with this being recent news, we just got to address it real quick. So, Bobby, did you see the comments that Mick Foley was referring to exactly?
Yeah, I seen him, and I just want to say that Mick Foley's one of the greatest professional wrestlers ever. And he probably doesn't get the credit he deserves, even though he does get a lot of credit. He's one of the greatest pro wrestlers of all time. They don't make them like that, you know. They don't make a lot of Mick Foleys, man. That's one of the greatest. I have nothing but respect. He has a right to his political opinion. I love his personality. I've never met him, but I don't agree with his politics. But I seen what he's talking about, and I thought Mick Foley was done in 2000, didn't he? Didn't Triple H end his career? I know he came back a couple times.
He came back.
Man, we're going
times.
on. We're going 26 years now. It's
yeah.
He wanted to go out on a high note, and I guess that's his high note, but he picked the wrong opponent. I think he's been through off the cage too many times.
Yeah. So I've met him at some Comic Cons before. We've had good chats together. He's a really great guy in person. One time, and I've said this in the kayfabe episodes, when I talked to him, we could talk to each other for about 2-3 hours per time and things. He's just that good of a person, and our personalities mesh that well.
Yeah, it reeks off of him. Like I said, they don't make him like that no more. It doesn't matter what my opinion is. Yeah. He's Mick Foley, and he's a
legend.
He's one of the greatest pro wrestlers of all time. Definitely an icon. They'll be talking about him in another 20 years, man. He put his body on line for this business, man, and he made a lot of stars. He made a lot of people look good. He's a great wrestler, and he doesn't get the respect. He does get the respect, but I just think they should do more respect for him. You know, and he was pretty popular. So
I know.
I love it. I love his matches. And none of his matches are boring, dude. I don't know too many Mick Foley matches that are boring.
Yeah. So, that's what's been going on lately. On to our topic for today. That's going to be similar to this what's going on. And that is wrestling's relationship to Saudi Arabia. In the 90s, there was a moment where I believe it was WCW, or it was either WWF or WCW, one where Vader and I believe The Undertaker were promoting a Middle Eastern show at one time.
In Kuwait, that was WWF. It was Kuwait, it was WWF.
Show. Yeah. And an incident happened between, I believe, Vader and the interviewer about what was going on with wrestling at the time. and I believe someone got slapped and they fell onto the coffee table or something. I don't
Yeah,
really.
Vader grabbed him, and rightfully so.
Yeah,
He could have been more professional about it. I like how Undertaker stayed cool in the situation.
yeah,
But sometimes, man, you got to take one for the team, and Vader took
yeah,
one for the team that day.
yeah,
He did the right thing. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
I'd have got pissed off too. I don't want to go to jail, but I got pissed off.
yeah, yeah. So, when and I know we talked about kayfabe and things, and you've talked about all that. So when it comes to um, back then, especially when they're trying to keep the kayfabe close knit, um, for those professional wrestlers, that would have been kind of an semi-appropriate response to those interviews. Of course, we have the David Schultz incident as well. Um, how do you think it has evolved? Those kind of things have evolved from then to today, and
Well, the
things.
internet's exposed a lot of things, and the secret's out. So it
Yeah,
was a little different back then. They were really trying to protect the business. That was before the big boom and the Attitude Era. So things
yeah,
were still kind of, a big deal to keep hush hush. And I still believe in a hush hush wrestling environment because believe it or not, man, I just don't think wrestling's fake at all.
yeah,
There's too much real to it. It's just going through. We've already discussed this motions of the wrestler. Vader, but at the same time, though, you're being paid lots of money to suck up your pride, and Vader's under contract. So
yeah,
Vader did the right thing, but at the same time, the company had the right to
yeah,
punish him for what he did
yeah,
because when you're being paid a lot of money, you signed a contract to put your personal stuff aside. That's why they're
yeah,
paying you so much money. That's one of the reasons why they're paying you so much money.
yeah, yeah. So
Undertaker did the right thing.
yeah,
He's
so
smooth as a criminal. Yeah.
yeah, so uh, what I've noticed is that I believe that was the only time prior to recent that they were in the Middle East. They may have been doing some Middle East. Excuse me. They may have been doing some Middle Eastern shows beforehand and probably a little bit after throughout the '90s. I'm not 100% certain on that. Um, but fast forward to recently. So in 2016, when Trump had his first presidency, he opened up relations with Saudi Arabia, and that opened the door with WWE to do Saudi shows over there. And every single show has gone with some kind of controversy. The first show, many wrestlers have bowed out because of the regime over there. Some people just did not want WWE to go over there because of a few assassinations that happened over there. So safety was a big concern at that. When we look at the Saudi Arabia shows, of course they're early in the well, semi early in the morning, somewhat in the afternoons. So we're able to at least watch it live um, on weekends. So that's nothing bad with the crowds usually into the shows. So that is good. They love the Riyadh season over there, obviously. Um, and they're doing what many believe are called sports washing, which is having their sports and entertainment culture venues overshadow all of the things that is negative around the country to give it a better image, um, which may help them out in the long run, um, but it doesn't help on the overshadowing of everything that they are doing, what the regime is doing wrong over there. Um,
Well, the these leaders are growing up
Yeah,
watching the same wrestling that us Americans over here get to watch that we take for granted. But
yeah,
over there, I guess only the leaders get to watch cable television. So
yeah,
they grow up loving wrestling like we do. And, in the oil field, there's a lot of money and they want to cater their workers. So wrestling's one of the ways to do that. Like, hey, I'm gonna
yeah,
bring wrestling over here, and then it turns into a political stunt,
yeah,
and that's really all it is. It just kind of gets out of hand. But obviously, the leader was probably grew up watching wrestling and loves wrestling, and that's why
yeah,
wrestling's over there. And
yeah,
because he even tried to book the Ultimate Warrior and Yokozuna, who are both gone nowadays, but
yeah.
their match was booked. That's a match I wanted to see. I read that. I was like, what?
Yeah,
He didn't know they were gone. So
yeah. I mean, there's several things that I heard that he wanted for several of the matches. Even the Greatest Royal Rumble, he wants some guys that were already dead to show up in there, and I
yeah.
was like, I don't even know how any of that's possible. Um, but yeah,
Oh, wouldn't it have been great to get Ultimate Warrior and Yokozuna though? And what's weird is Warrior probably would have came back and wrestled for the amount of money that this guy's willing to pay.
yeah,
If Warrior could have stayed, alive with us and healthy, we could have seen some great, you know, fan favorite matches that we never got to see because
yeah,
this guy's willing to pay big bucks to get these great matches. We still haven't got Austin and Goldberg though.
yeah.
You think he would have paid big for that?
You would think. Um, I
I guess
mean,
that's 20 years too late, huh?
true. Yeah, in their controversies. So another controversy that they had was the Goldberg Undertaker match, where um, I believe Goldberg botched his jackhammer on to Undertaker, and one of them or both of them ended up with a concussion. Do you remember exactly which one it was?
I think Goldberg got the concussion. He ran himself into the pole.
Okay. Okay, so there was that. Um,
I'm telling you, man, I got a Mandela effect thing here. I remember Goldberg and Undertaker being in Australia. I don't know how it went to Saudi Arabia. The whole time I thought they was wrestling in Australia. What happened?
I believe it was Crown
I made a
Jewel.
big deal about this on the internet one time because it
Yeah.
was bothering me so much. I was
Uh,
told they wrestled in Perth, Australia, on the western coast of Australia.
I do know that Crown Jewel was in Perth, Australia recently. Um, they've only done a few matches or a few shows in Australia. Um, I can only count on one hand on how many matches that they've or shows that they've had in
Well,
Australia.
the
So
other reason why I believe so much that the match actually was in Australia, I try to look at the fans in the crowd when I watch the show, and I'm telling you, it's a Mandela effect. Goldberg was worth so much money that I didn't think he would take a loss to Taker at Saudi Arabia with all that money on the line. I know kayfabe, but I'm
yeah,
just being honest. Something happened. I really have a hard time. I remember it being in Australia. I guess Bobby knows he's crazy, but that's what I remember.
yeah. So other big things that had gone on there were the King of the Ring tournament, the finals, um, and also there was the Greatest Royal Rumble match where Braun Strowman won that one. Daniel Bryan got, I believe, the most eliminations or the longest time, and he ended up being the runner-up for that. And then for the most recent Crown Jewel matches or events, they had the Crown Jewel Championship things, and it wasn't really a championship match. It was just champion versus champion, and all they got was like basically a Super Bowl ring for it. And they said that there's
Something
going
got
to be
changed. There was supposed to be an Undertaker Jericho match. What got changed there? And they changed it to something else at the Greatest Royal Rumble. It was supposed to be the Undertaker and Jericho, if I remember right. And Jericho didn't go, so Taker had to face somebody else.
had to face Rusev.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be Jericho.
Jericho. I'm not sure if Jericho bowed out of that event, but he had actually ended up going to doing a whole cruise situation and said there was a Fozzy concert thing, and Fozzy did perform there at that cruise, but they also had some wrestling shows there as well on that cruise, and that's what led up to AEW to begin forming. And Vince was thinking, oh, well, Jericho's just doing this and he'll be back later on. And Jericho went to AEW. So, yeah, he was not too thrilled about that. I'm sure. Um,
Sorry about the dinging. Let me turn my car on here, man.
yeah.
Very unprofessional, I know.
It's all right. It's all right. So, um, and as far as the championship, the Saudi or the Crown Jewel championships go, um, it just seemed like a wasted championship belt because it wasn't going to be taken out of Saudi Arabia. They just put it
Oh,
into
I
a
remember that.
case.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, they would say, oh, it'd be an annual event there. And yet they had it this year and they didn't even acknowledge the championships at all. They just gave them the rings. And I'm just sitting here like, what is the purpose of the championship belts if they're not going to utilize it? And it's just going to be on display. Well, what's the purpose of those belts at this point? I mean, I get it. They're the most expensive
It
belts
was
ever made.
it was political.
Yeah.
You know, as much as money as they were offering, not to change, about the belts, but you would have thought they could have got one Hulk Hogan match out of him. Even to
Yeah.
go in the ring and give someone a punch.
Yeah.
Something.
Exactly.
Something with Hogan. I think we got Hogan versus Flair, team versus team, but
Yeah.
either Hogan must have been really banged up to not be able to get in the ring, man, because the money was there, and I know it would have been a big payday for Hogan. So
Okay. And let's see what else here. Um, so the Royal Rumble is going to be in Rehab um, this January. Um, I'm I recently found that out. I I'm pretty sure that they probably announced it way before then. Now, and then they have announced that WrestleMania is going to be in Saudi Arabia 2 years from now. And they ironically announced that on September 11th, the 24th anniversary of the September 11th attacks. Um, I kind of felt like that was a big slap in our face, personally. With that, I if they were going to announce it, I would think that they would have announced it some other time other than then to do it. But also, I kind of don't want the first international. Now, I mean, I say international, I mean outside of North America WrestleMania. I would rather it not be Saudi Arabia. I would rather it be London, England, because
I
London
was about
has
to say
really,
London, yes.
yeah, because London has actually earned that. moniker more so than Saudi Arabia. That's just my own personal opinion on that. That has nothing to do with what all Saudi Arabia has done in the last um, 9 years or so. That has to do with what all has happened between um, WWE and London's relationship throughout the last 30 years. So,
Well, according to the media, Britain's not doing really good right now, economy wise, and the
yeah,
money's in where the oil's at. Plus, they're using WWE on the front lines of this. Man, I know you don't want to go political, but with this situation, it's hard not to talk politics
yeah,
with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is no longer about money. This is all about politics and thinking that they're going to go over there and somehow change the Saudi Arabia people to look at the world more through like America. And we thought the same thing with Hong Kong and China, and you've seen how that went. They thought giving Hong Kong to China would turn China all Americanized, and it didn't happen like that. And that's not going to happen with Saudi Arabia either.
yeah,
It's all about use them till the money's gone. Now, for the wrestling business, to get to see these greats get back in the ring, besides all the politics stuff, the possibility of Shawn Michaels wrestling in 2027, I am looking forward to that because I am a mark for Michaels. He's one of my hero guys, man, and that is what I'm looking forward to. I hope Shawn Michaels does it. If he does not, because it gives people hope. Getting back in the ring at 61 years old in 2027, that gives people hope, and I hope Shawn Michaels gives us one more great classic match or more at WrestleMania.
yeah,
And he's already turned it down, but I think he's going to get back. I think he'll do it. I think he'll go over there.
yeah. There's some reasons why Shawn Michaels would turn down matches right now, and that stems from his last match not being that great, one of his worst matches of all time. Um, Understandably so, but I think one good retirement match, and retirement matches can go either way. We've seen them all. We've seen great retirement matches, and we've seen really piss poor retirement matches as well. And the bad thing about a bad retirement match that they were going to make up for the whole missing New Orleans for next year with their announcement, and then it turned out to be the Saudi Arabia WrestleMania announcement, and that kind of got me disappointed personally because I live like 20 miles away from New Orleans, and I know it got a lot of um, U.S. fans around here upset as well because not a lot of U.S. fans like to go to would want to go to Saudi Arabia right now. Um, what was your initial thoughts when they announced the Saudi Arabia WrestleMania?
It's got to do with Trump and the Arabian Accords. Him going over there talking to Saudi Arabia, doing business deals with them, and it's all part of that Gaza Rivera thing that's going to be coming up. They want to move. Man, we could talk about this all day long. 5 ways up Sundays.
Yeah,
People are leaving America. They're trying to take our babies, our stuff, and take it over there where they think the world's. Man, it's actually, and I don't want to jump off subject, but on a different day we could talk about this. It's actually really kind of spooky what's going on behind the scenes right now, to where
yeah,
they see us at in 5 or 10 years. And this WrestleMania going to Saudi Arabia is part of that. It's part.
yeah,
I hope it doesn't go that deep, but it's money, it's luxury, it's them trying to unite the world. There's a bunch of brick walls. The Middle East is in the West, there's a brick wall, and they're trying to tear down that brick wall. And WrestleMania going to Saudi Arabia is part of tearing down that brick wall. It's
Yeah.
all political, but the money's there. That's what makes it important. The money's there. It's just, it's nature. It's nature taking its course for the next step. And it's political and it's biblical, man. This is not a coincidence that that WrestleMania is going to Saudi Arabia. It's bigger than we really, then this will probably be the biggest WrestleMania. And you know what, man? Who's to say it may not be, it might be the last WrestleMania. Things are changing in the world right now. Yeah. And it's up in the air what's going to happen next. I'm just being honest with you. Let's keep an eye open. Things are, WrestleMania only being in Vegas is not a good sign. It shows usually when a rock band is retiring, they hang out in Vegas a lot. And you know, when WrestleMania 9 was in Vegas, it was during the steroid scandal. So it's not a good look that WWF is 2 years in a row in Vegas. It shows a sign of something that they're not telling us.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just feel that the reason why they chose Vegas 2 years in a row wasn't because they were trying to save face. Well, they were trying to save face of the New Orleans debacle there, but also saying that, oh, well, we got a headquarters there. We got people living in Las Vegas. It'd be easier for us. I mean, they're just using the ticket sales that they had from Las Vegas this past year, as an excuse for them choosing Vegas this upcoming year. And I'm just like, you know, y'all can make as much excuses as y'all can with that. You know, go to New York, go to Los Angeles. You know, go somewhere where you know that you have good relationships with, not just the same venue twice in a year, like that. 2 years in a row.
It's not a good sign. It shows there's something they're not telling us. Either the wrestlers are about to just pull the plug because Vince McMahon's not there no more, or something's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, it draws a big red flag there. And
Vince is gone. Vince McMahon's gone. Triple H is probably going to be gone really soon. I think, and maybe the Saudi guy bought WWE and they just haven't told us that yet. But that's a possibility. Saudi Arabia might have bought WWE like they buy everything else.
Yeah. There's no telling on what may have happened with that. They're not. We're going to have to find out in the next 5 to 10, maybe 20 years from now, and see what all happens. At that point.
I mean, Hogan's gone. McMahon's gone. Triple H is about to leave. Cena just retired. There's something going on. I know the guys are getting older, but this is too many at once. Yeah. Something's going on.
Yeah.
I hope it's not the end of that great WWE that we love, man. I hope not.
No, if it's going to be the end of WWE, I'm pretty sure that Triple H and those officials would rather sell it to AEW before they sell it overseas.
You would think that, but if they could just keep the names of like WrestleMania, if they could just keep that name WrestleMania and a couple of other things, they could sell them something that make them think they're buying WWE, take the money and run to AEW or something. But ain't Tony Khan a Muslim? Am I mistaken?
He may be. I'd have to look it up and see.
Why ain't AEW in business with Saudi Arabia? That's probably why WWE has to do business with Saudi Arabia, because they don't want AEW doing business with them. And who's to say that they don't do that next?
I want to say Tony and his father are from Pakistan. And if
which
I'm
is limit. But I could be.
yeah,
I mean, I'm not hating on the. I haven't looked into it, but it just seems like the world's moving to the Middle East,
yeah,
and it's not a good thing.
yeah. If you read the Bible, you read the Bible and Revelations and
Yes, I do.
things.
I'm a
It's
biblical guy, and what I see is red flags about the end of the world. But
yeah,
that's my personal opinion.
yeah, yeah. So
I see
yeah,
WWE going over there is not a coincidence to me.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they've got.
It's
I mean,
all part of it.
yeah,
It's all part of it.
yeah. I mean,
You remember the whole reason why Israel, the name Israel, is because Jacob wrestled with the angel or God, and he got his name changed to Israel. Israel is
yeah,
based off. Israel is almost like a title from a wrestling match, and now you got in Saudi Arabia WrestleMania going over there, and it's like they've got a plan, man. There's something going on here.
yeah.
They're messing with us. I don't know,
I'm
but at the same
yes,
time, it's money. And
yeah,
like I said, it could just be the oil field company over there want to cater to the workers, so they bring WWE over.
the,
The Rolling Stones are bringing over, the Eagles or ACDC or something.
yeah,
So it just, anytime you're dealing with the Middle East, you think biblical stuff or
yeah,
politics.
yeah. There's no telling on what the truth is with WWE's relationship with Saudi Arabia in full. Um, I do believe that it is partially political, but we won't really know for certain until someone high up, like very high, like Nick Khan or Triple H, actually comes out and talks about their relationship with Saudi Arabia in full detail on it, and actually talk about why they are doing relations with Saudi Arabia at this time. But
Has John Cena been to Saudi Arabia?
yes,
There has been John Cena matches over there. Okay,
yes,
I couldn't remember. I know he was in bed with the Chinese Communist Party for a long time. I know he was
yeah,
over in China for a while. Another political stunt.
yeah, yeah. So there's several different issues with Saudi Arabia. I feel like every time they go over there for Crown Jewel or King of the Ring or whatever else that they do over there, something else comes up to say that there's some kind of controversy going on, whether it's a match that doesn't go right, um, something political, big name wrestler bows out of the event, or something. Something always goes down over there, and the fact that
Like I say bring it on because they keep Goldberg around. We get to see Goldberg.
yeah,
Goldberg should have. Goldberg was probably done with the business back in 2018 if it wasn't for Saudi Arabia. Saudi
yeah,
Arabia has kept Goldberg around.
yeah, yeah. So there's been some positives, some negatives. I'm not sure which one outweighs the other at this point. But
Well, I really wanted to see that Undertaker Jericho match, and I hate that we
yeah,
haven't got to see that yet on a big pay per view. That would have been a great match. I wish that match would have happened.
yeah,
I wish the Ultimate Warrior Yokozuna. I shouldn't bring that up, but man, that's just a classic fantasy that they wanted to book that match. what a,
yeah,
that's awesome. Just
yeah,
hearing about. I mean,
yeah.
here's two guys that are gone, and you got the.
They, I'm
Great.
I'm pretty sure they're booking that match up in the sky right now. So,
Yeah, that's
uh,
what I'm thinking. I was like,
yeah,
talk about from the afterlife, being booked.
Yeah.
Imagine being booked 20 years after you've passed away. Yokozuna's been gone since 99 or 2000.
Yeah.
And they started going over there in 2016. Yeah, he got booked 16 years after he passed away. That's Hall of Fame. They should put that match in the Hall of Fame. Warrior versus Yokozuna.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I think I've heard of
It was just cool to hear about that.
Yeah.
That they got booked.
Yeah. But yeah, I do believe that Undertaker and Jericho have faced each other one on one a few times. I do know that
Yeah, on Monday Night Raw, but it wasn't like a big pay-per-view send-off. They haven't had a big classic match, and those two can still probably go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Remind me on this. Crown Jewel one year when they had I don't even know how to pronounce it, but it was some kind of cup that Undertaker won for like a tournament or something.
Really?
Yeah.
I gotta check this out.
Yeah. Do you know if that would have been before or after his COVID match with AJ Styles?
It had to be before because he hasn't done a match since AJ Styles. He really hasn't had a good match, like a real match, since I forgot. It was Fully Loaded 2019. Was it Fully Loaded? And he teamed up with Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta check it out. I guess there's matches over there I haven't seen yet. That's got to be one of them.
Yeah. Do you know of any other issues that WWE had with Saudi Arabia that you can think of? Any?
I want to say there was something with fireworks, but that was WrestleMania 24. But there was something that happened. It was on the news. Maybe you've already mentioned what happened. There was something over there that happened. But they had stuff with the women. The women didn't want to go because they don't want the women dressed in a certain way in the matches. I think they've moved on past that.
Yeah.
Other than that, no, it was just big. I'll be honest, I wasn't always watching WWE at the time because I was busy wrestling in my own career, and I usually had a show on the day they were having shows. But I would make the time and watch the Goldberg matches in Saudi Arabia. And I always watch Goldberg's matches because I'm a bit, I like Goldberg. So when I heard he was coming back, it helped make the Saudi Arabia matches special, where you could compare them to WrestleMania. Now, if they're just paying them big matches and they're not putting on big matches, I probably wouldn't even know if they were in Saudi Arabia or not. I only knew they were over there because Goldberg and Shawn Michaels' return match.
Yeah.
It makes it where it's like, oh, Saudi Arabia is worth mentioning now. So.
Yeah. Anyway, next week it's going to be the Christmas weekend. I know I'm going to be off all next week. I'm not sure what's going to happen between the 23rd and all the way down to the 27th. 27th is my son's birthday. That all that's going to be up in the air. So that it's going to be on call if we do a show for that week. Hey guys, the Jazzy 08, also known as Jimmy Guillory here. Really quickly, while doing the final edits of the video, I discovered it kind of cut off on the last bit of the closing here. Not really the best way to close it out. Not is outside of my control there on that. We did not finish recording the closing part of it. That was really my bad. But yeah, what we were saying is that very quickly, Our last, um, the next weekend is going to be up in the air on if we're going to have another episode, due to Christmas break and everything. So we are. It's just going to depend on everything. Family comes first, kind of situation. We don't know what could be going on. Um, there's personal issues there with that, um, of course, especially with my kids and everything. So yeah, yeah, we're gonna be heavily. It's gonna be on call, at this point in time. Um, January 3rd, which is gonna be the first Broken Turnbuckle episode of the new year. We are going to work on getting. Um, we're probably going to be doing the history of the Royal Rumble, and also a few other shows in the meantime. We are also going to be debating on doing wrestling schools as well. We may even bring a former WWE referee onto the show to talk about his time as a referee, as well. Um, Hopefully, we would also be able to do an episode on Junkyard Dog soon. And yeah, we're pretty optimistic about this. Um, so yeah, um, so if this next show, if we don't do the next show next week, then this will be the last episode for this year, and we'll start back up again next year. Other than that, um, this has been the Jedi 08, also known as Jeremy the Jedi Guillory, and that was Bobby Knows. Thank y'all, and good night.